Spoiler alert, it's as good as I thought it was gonna be. Oh, that was a journey, especially with those jackhammers going in the background. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, then welcome. My name's Christina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you go, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. Yesterday, I did some errands and took a little trip to the magical world of Ulta Beauty. I wanted to go in and see what was new. If you guys don't already follow me on Instagram and TikTok, I posted a reel and a TikTok taking you guys along with me on this shopping spree. I swatch all the products, I talk you through my thought process, and I show you everything that I bought. So if you want to come shopping with me, follow me over there. But in this video, I am going to be showing you guys all the products that I picked up. We're going to be focusing on drugstore priced makeup this time around. So if you want to see how I got this makeup look and you want to know all my thoughts on the products I picked up, maybe you want to do your makeup with me, then let's get started. So I want to go over quickly everything that I purchased. Again, it was a good amount of things, so I'm just going to quickly graze over everything. One of the main reasons why I wanted to go to Ulta was for this palette. This is the brand new LA Girl Glow Envy eyeshadow palette. I actually bought this because of my girl Magdalene Janet. She did an eye look with this and posted it on Instagram, and I was like, girl, your eyeshadow looks amazing. And she was like, girl, it's LA Girl. So I was like, say less. So I went and picked it up, and I'm really excited to use this today. I also went ahead and picked up the Glow Envy Bouncy blushes and bronzer. They only had one shade of each of these, but I really wanted to test it out today. I'm very intrigued by this texture. And I think the last LA Girl purchase was the Sheer Tint Lip Balm in the shade Sheer Black Cherry. Online it just says Sheer Berry, but in store it's Sheer Black Cherry. So just FYI if you can't find it. I wanted to pick up the primer. Actually, I did. I ordered it on Ulta because it wasn't in any stores near me, but I wanted to go ahead and film this video, so I'm going to test that out on another day. I picked up the new Lip Tinted Hue Guard Tint Skin Tint SPF 50. You guys know I've been loving my sunscreen skin tints. This is in the shade 8. I was very indecisive on if I wanted it, but when I was in line, I was like, let me just pick it up. Let me just try it. If I don't like it, I can return it. And I'm so glad I did because I tried it yesterday. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I'll probably give you guys a more in-depth review in like a short or reel or TikTok. And another foundation or complexion product I picked up is the About Face the Performer Skin Focused Foundation. I have it in the shade M1 Neutral. We're going to be using this one today since I did test out the lip tinted one yesterday already, and I want to give you guys like my first impression on this one. I bought two of the brand new Maximal lipsticks. It's the new matte formulation. I picked up two shades. I did swatch a bunch of them, and I had a lot of them in my cart online before I went in there, and I swatched all of the ones I was interested in, and I actually only came out with two. I have the shade Taupe and Velvet Teddy, but I really liked these two as well as Warm Teddy. I think I was also thinking of getting Chilly, but I went ahead, just got these because I want to try the formulation first before buying more of them. I bought two of the Juvia's Place Afrogalactic glitter liners. This one is Metaverse. It's a bluish purple shift, which I think is so beautiful, and I can't get away from those shifts. Even though I barely wear that much like color on my eyes, I can never say no. And then we have Venus, which is less duochrome, more just like a pretty glitter. I got the new L'Oreal True Match Radiant Serum Concealer. You guys know my love for the Serum foundation, the Serum skin tint from L'Oreal. I got this in the shade N5. I actually tried this one yesterday as well, and spoiler alert, it's as good as I thought it was gonna be. I bought two of the Revlon Limitless Matte Liquid Lipsticks, and I also made a quick trip to Target to return a couple of things, but I went ahead and bought some other things on my radar, one being the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. This is the shade number 4, Butter Biscuit, and I did also purchase shade number 3 on my online order that I also got the LA Girl Putty Primer. I saw this one in store, and I was like, actually, I think that this shade might be a better match, or at least a good match. So I went ahead, purchased number 4, so we're going to be trying that today. And lastly, the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. I had said no to purchasing this since it's launched because you guys know I'm very, very, very picky about my mascaras. I'm almost like 98% positive this is not gonna work for me. I thought I would try it out anyways because I've just heard so many good things about it. And also part of this drugstore video, I did receive this package from Hard Candy 30 minutes ago. This is the Girl Scout collaboration. They didn't actually send me the eyeshadow palettes, which I was hoping I would get to try out, but that's okay. They sent me this really cute headband. I have so many of these skincare headbands now. It came with some press-on nails, a lip oil. It's the trefoils. I don't know how to say this cookie, but it's the trefoils or trefoils. I always do Thin Mints and Samoas, which is perfect because we also have these goodies. 2 velvety smooth lip colors in Coconut Caramel and Thin Mint, and 2 luminous highlighters in also Coconut Caramel and the trefoils one. I'm gonna pull my hair back. I was gonna say head. Push my hair back with this headband. This one, by the way, is from Elemis. You guys have asked because I wore it in a previous video. This I got in PR from Elemis. I love like the braided texture to it. So like I said, we're gonna go in with the About Face foundation. I did test this one out already. If you're curious, you want to know my thoughts about it, I will be doing a real TikTok short. When this first launched, I was debating on getting it. I've been seeing it on my feeds a lot, and the more I see it, the more intrigued I get. I kept seeing people say it's like second skin, so you guys know I love a good natural foundation. Ooh, that doe foot's really in there. Doesn't seem to have a scent to it. This giant doe foot is so tempting to just like smear onto my face right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with putting this onto a separate palette. It doesn't give you a big chunky mess of product, which is good. So I wanna see how the foundation and concealer wear without like color correcting or anything like that. I'm just gonna take this BK Beauty 106 brush and just stipple it on. You know what, as I'm doing this, I'm remembering I wanted to do my eyeshadow first. Ay, it's okay. We'll just finish this. I would say that's like half a layer because there really wasn't that much product that I was able to dispense there. Honestly, guys, that lasted like 0.2 seconds. I'm just gonna go in and put this on my face because no one else is going to use this foundation. I know this is not very hygienic, especially if you're acne prone like me, so maybe don't like follow my lead here, but I'm just gonna do it. It doesn't feel drying so far. It actually feels more hydrating. And take it down my neck because it is a little bit darker, but that's totally fine. All right, this is one layer of that foundation. I really like the way that it's sitting on the skin. It doesn't seem to be emphasizing anything. It's not clinging onto any areas on my face. Not that I really have any dry patches or anything like that. I do have more combination oily skin type, so I didn't really expect it to. I love the dewiness that it's giving me. This is like a good jumping off point for me when it comes to foundations. I prefer it to be more dewy and then mattify it later on versus having something really matte and then making it dewy, you know? You can still see my freckling, hyperpigmentation, a little bit of like my acne right here, some acne scarring, but it's definitely more subtle, of course, as it should be once you put foundation on top of it. It feels very, very thin, I will say. It does feel a little bit tacky. It's still drawing down a little bit, but it doesn't feel greasy. I think I would have preferred a pump with it just because it's a little bit more hygienic and I would be able to get like all the product I want to use off of this without having to dip it back in after putting it on my face. All right, so I let this dry for a couple of minutes. Still a little bit tacky, which is totally fine. I would prefer it that way. Now I want to move on to the concealer. Again, I have this in the shade N5. This is a really interesting doe foot. It's kind of like a flat triangle right here and it is angled, so you can kind of get it into like those crevices in the eyes or really pinpoint it. Now the thing with that is I like the ingenuity of it. I like how it's kind of like a flatter surface so you can get more product off of the doe foot. However, I don't necessarily like to put concealer all the way in there because I do find that it creases and stuff. I usually like to put it near. I would place it probably around this area and then I would slowly blend it into my creases and my crevices because less product the better because it's less likely to crease in those areas, you know? And same with like around my nose, I would put it close to my nose and then just kind of blend it towards the sides of my nose. I'm going to take this BK Angie Hot and Flashy A503 brush and take it onto that doe foot and just get the product from there, and I'm going to work work this under my eyes. I like this shade. I think it works really nicely under my eyes, and it also works on the rest of my face. The shades that were like a shade or two down and up from these were more cool and more warm tones, and then the next neutral shade was either way too light or way too dark. So this was like pretty much my only option when I actually looked at all of the colors. I kind of wish that I had something that would like completely match my foundations and stuff, because this is probably like half a step lighter than this foundation on my face currently. So whenever, you know, as you can see, if I conceal like a spot or something, a blemish, then I do risk it showing and not being as seamless. So that's just something to know. I could go with like the warmer tone that's a little darker than this, but I'm very hesitant about warm tones. It feels very similar to me to the actual Serum foundation. It's super thin, it's not creamy, and it's not moussey at all. I would say that this is closer to a gel serum texture, and it does feel a little bit lighter in texture than the Serum foundation in my opinion. So that's really nice because it covers a good area of the cheek, and it's flat too, so you can easily put an even amount. So I like the doe foot for that reason. You could probably leave this on like this and blend it out after a couple of minutes, like let it dry down a little bit to get more coverage from it. As you can see, I'm pretty much blending it right away, and we're still getting really nice brightening coverage. And I'm just taking a little bit more of the concealer right here on my hyperpigmentation and freckling, and also right here taking my BK Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush, and I'm just kind of stamping that in there. I find that I get more coverage when I use this brush and this technique, and this is giving me really nice medium coverage, I would say. I already put some concealer here and adding like essentially another layer, and it doesn't look cakey, and I think the finish of it and texture of it being like a gel serum hybrid really helps it to lay a little bit more naturally on the skin. I would say this is for sure not like a full coverage finish. Maybe I could go in with a little bit more of that foundation. I don't feel like I've really pushed the foundation to its limit, but this is where I want to stop right now. So we're going to take a break from the face and we're going to go in and do the eyes. Here's what the eyeshadow palette looks like. I will be doing some arm swatches so you guys can see all of the shades and how they swatch. I like the color story because I feel like you can do a really normal, everyday, neutral type of eye look with this, like with this section right here. Or you could go a little bit fun because you do have these fun matte colors like these pastels right here. And you also have shimmers that are in the same family, like color family here. I really want to do kind of like my usual warm eyeshadow makeup look, you know, but I don't know. We'll probably try something new today. First, let's go ahead and prime the eyelids. I'm just using this Milani eyeshadow primer. It kind of like spits out oil at first. Do you see that? Are all of them like that? I just don't know. If you shake it up and kind of like massage the bottle a little, it does come out a little bit more thick and creamy. So before I decide on a look, let's go ahead and swatch a couple of these colors. It feels really nice and soft. Oh, that's pretty good. Now I will say swatches don't always determine the way it's going to blend or the way it's going to look on the actual eyes, but I do want to show you guys how some of these swatch. Those are pretty promising for matte pastels for sure. It does feel a little bit grainy to the touch. Stop, that's so pretty. Oh, shut up. That's so pretty. Wow. The shimmers don't feel as buttery. Oh, this one looks more like glitter than an even base color and glitter. But oh my gosh, stop. That's so beautiful. So this one looks like it's a little bit more sheer. Can you see that? Oh, but it swatches so nice. Oh my gosh. It's kind of duochromy. Like it's a purple. What shift is that? It kind of disappears. I don't even know, but dude, that's so pretty. What the heck? The mattes just feel so buttery. Now I really don't know what I'm gonna do look-wise. I'm just gonna go in with this shade right here. And I'm gonna put this in the crease and probably a little bit, whoa, that's way more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. Let me put some on this eye too. Let me wipe my brush off. That's a super pigmented shade. I'm very, very impressed by that for sure. I'm gonna take this matte pink shade and just kind of put this on the eyelid as like our base before going in with a shimmer. That's actually quite pigmented. I'm just going in and patting it on top and using this almost as like a bone color, except it's like a light pink color, you know? Okay, now I'm gonna take my finger and just go in onto my eyelid with this shade. I love the way this sparkles. And I'm not taking it into the first third of my eye because I'm gonna go in with this purple shade right here, and I'm gonna just stick that in the inner corners, kind of like mix the two colors together. Just going back and forth with the fingers that have the shadows on them. How cute is that? I have so much sparkle on my hands now though. I don't even really feel like I need to blend it that much more because these kind of just went on really easily. Before we finish the eyes, I want to go in with the rest of our like liquid and creams. I want to see what these highlights look like. Maybe I should have put this underneath. These are both the Luminous highlights from Hard Candy, and it's the coconut caramel and trefoils one. I wonder why they didn't call this one Samoa. So it does have this doe foot applicator. Here's the coconut caramel. Whoa, that is metallic. Oh my gosh, look at that highlight. Oh, they smell really good. They smell like the cookies. I'm going to take this BK Beauty Nikki LaRose N14 brush, and I'm just going to take a little mixture of the two here. Let's just put this on the high points. So it dries down super quickly. Like this is already dry on the back of my hand pretty much. I like how thin and compact the highlighter is. It does make me a little nervous how fragrant they are. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on how that does, but let's put some here. Ooh, I like that. You definitely have to work quickly with these because they dry down very fast. But I will say, once you kind of blend it out with a brush, they don't look as metallic as they do on the back of the hand, which is ideal for me. How freaking beautiful is that? I think they dry down really nicely though, so I will say wherever you place this, it's going to stay. All right, that's what the highlight looks like. Really beautiful. That's really nice. Now let's try the Bouncy Bronzer and Blush. So I just opened these up and started swatching them, and you guys, look at the blush. There's like a hole in it because the texture is very moussey, and I guess there's like little air pockets in there. That was weird. Like the more I like pushed down on it, the bigger the hole was getting. So the texture of these are very mousse-like. I wouldn't say they're bouncy in the sense of like, I'm trying to think of what it was. I can't remember what product it was, but there used to be a blush. It was a smaller blush and it was domed, and when you would push down you could like kind of feel the bouncy texture to it. Let me know in the comments down below if you remember what I'm talking about. It was a couple years back. That product, I would say I would definitely consider bouncy, the texture, versus being moussey. This one I feel like is moussey. I feel like it's a mousse textured product that is pressed down into a pan. I believe in the description it does say that it's a mousse like texture. I think calling it a bouncy bronzer and blush just sounds more fun, like for marketing purposes. We're gonna go ahead and apply this. So when I swatched it, it was a little bit more grayish on my arm. So I think I'm gonna try to use this more as a contour at first, and then we'll see how it does or how it looks before using it as a bronzer if it works out. High pigmentation for sure. She's gray. It's okay. We'll stick it in contour areas only. If you're similar to my skin tone, this is gonna work as a contour for sure. Like it's going to be dark enough, but it is going to be quite gray. If you like your contours to be like that with more gray, less brown, then this would work really well for you. Should I use it on my nose? This is a Morphe V105 brush. I'm gonna start at the bottom. Oh, it's a pretty good nose contour. I will say that I like it as a nose contour for sure. I would solely use this as a contour versus a bronzer. I would say it's like a bouncy contour. It doesn't ring the same as a bouncy bronzer, but it's good. I would love to see them come out with like more shades of this. I'm going to use a more domed brush here. This is just an IT Cosmetics Airbrush foundation brush. It is quite pigmented. That's like 3 dips in and you can see it right there. Here is that blush. Can you guys guess what I'm going to say? Can you guess? Not my favorite color, but I like the texture of this a lot. I love the moussey texture to it because it's really easy to blend into the skin and it's still really pigmented pigmented, so it's not just like smearing all over the place. It's thinner than, if you remember, like the Maybelline Mousse foundation, way thinner than that. So it has a good balance of pigmentation as well as like a sheer hydrating moussey texture to it. And I feel like it kind of dried down a little better than like your traditional cream blush. It's not dry by any means, but it's dried down enough to where I feel like this would work for people with oily skin types if you want something that is not a powder blush and you still want some good longevity from it. I love this texture for a blush. I think it's so good. All right guys, I'm back. I just powdered my face and I finished my lower lash line. I'm sorry if you can hear all that noise outside. They're literally jackhammering outside. Why are they doing that? Well, they're fixing some of the sidewalks and the cement and in the driveways, and yeah, what bad timing, huh? It's okay. I hope you guys are okay with it. We're almost done with this video, but I went ahead and I finished powdering my face. I did my lower lash line and I did actually incorporate Venus from the Juvia's Place liners. All I did was just do a little dot right on the center right there, and then I blended it out with my pinky, and it's definitely not the same color as what's going on the top. So I may just like dust a little bit of that purple right on top of it. Let's actually do that right now just to get it looking a little closer. I don't know. I just really wanted to use as many products as possible. It's a really pretty liner though, despite the fact that it doesn't like necessarily match all the way. I will say that the brush on it is quite long, so actually getting a lot of precision with it might be a little bit difficult, but you do get a good amount of glitter onto the brush, which I think might be a plus, because what I find with a lot of glitter liners is you have to go in with multiple layers, whereas this may give you like a good even stroke more consistently than other liners. Keep an eye out for a reel or TikTok or something on these because I definitely want to play with them and incorporate them more. Let's go ahead and use the NYX Buttermelt bronzer. I have a feeling that this is going to kind of pull more as a contour as well, so we're going to go in with a very light dusting of this. I'm just using the Sigma large angled contour. It's an F40 brush, and I'm just going to kind of dust this in. I love this compact. I think it's so sleek, and when I was like kind of feeling this bronzer, it really does feel very smooth and buttery. It does have a little bit of a thick layer, like an even layer when you actually swatch it. When you like rub your fingers together, again, it gives you that very silky smooth feeling. So I think I'll go ahead and do this on my forehead first. Okay, that's a pretty good color. It's really easy to get a lot of pigmentation out of this. I don't feel like I'm having to really scrub my brush in there or anything. And it's also not giving me an excess amount of powder. Like it's not super powdery. There's definitely powder like flying off of it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to affect the way that this applies. I think that bronzer applied really well. It's definitely a cool tone type of bronzer, so I would say it's right in the middle of a bronzer contour product. I feel like I could still use this as a bronzer, especially if I get a little bit more tan throughout the spring and summertime. I like the formulation. I think it's very beautiful and it's really easy to work with, and it doesn't look flat on the skin. When you look at the actual powder, it almost looks like it has a little bit of a soft sheen to it. There's no glitter to it whatsoever, and it's not like it's shimmery, but it almost looks like it has a little bit of a soft frosted finish to it, which is making it sit very naturally on the skin, and I like that. So I won't lie to you guys, before using the mascara, I did want to go ahead and prep my eyelashes with this Etude Dr. Mascara Fixer. This is just essentially like a clear holder for my lashes to keep the curl. With any Western brand, if I just use waterproof or like tubing mascaras alone, they don't hold the curl. They never do. I will try this alone and update you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to know my update. It would be great if they came out with a waterproof version, but honestly with tubing mascaras, I don't think there are waterproof versions. I don't think the formulation really works for that. So we do have this rubber bristle here. I always smell my mascaras. Do you guys do that? Like specifically mascaras, I have to do it. Let's go ahead and apply this starting at the base. So tubing mascaras, I always find that they give me a lot of length, but not that much volume. And you can kind of see my eyelashes are kind of sticking together into clumps. So it kind of looks like there's more gaps in my lashes. I did take this little eyelash comb and I'm trying to like comb it through. I don't think that it has anything to do with this mascara fixer because I've used this with multiple other different mascaras and it's always been fine. Granted, it can give me a little bit more clumpiness if I let it dry too long between putting that on and putting the other mascara on, but it doesn't happen often. This mascara is kind of giving me spider lashes. Like, can you see that? I have lots of length, but there's definitely noticeable gaps here between my eyelashes. I'm gonna go in with a different lash comb. It's a little spikier. I'm just gonna go in and try to brush it out. All right, I will say this mascara, this tubing formulation is really strong because it's really hard to comb through them and like separate it because it's like very dried. So that's a good thing if you like a mascara that really stays in place. This is probably as much as I can like separate my lashes. So if you like a lot of length and you're not necessarily looking for volume, this would be a really good one. And if you don't need like a mascara primer, I think that would be ideal. Just doing a little bit of the lash comb and then probably tight lining will kind of fix the way that it's looking a little bit more separated and spidery in my opinion, but overall doesn't look terrible. My lashes look very, very long. For this eye, I went ahead and combed my lashes out before going in with the mascara just to make sure that this wasn't like clumping my lashes together. And I went in with just one quick sweep, like one layer on the eyes, and it looks better, right? Like I feel like that looks a little closer to how this looks now. All right, really had to work with that, but honestly, I don't hate it. I think it looks really good. Lots of effort, I will say. But again, if you don't need like a primer mascara, if your lashes can hold a curl and you're not looking for volume and you just want to do like a quick sweep on something that is for sure going to dry down, then this seems like a really good option. Oh, let me put some on my bottom lashes. Let's go ahead and get into my favorite part, which are the lips. I'm so excited for this. If I can't put all of these on my lips today, again, a short, a reel, a TikTok, look out for any of those because I love doing little swatches and stuff. Let's go ahead and try this lip balm first. Again, this is a shade Sheer Black Cherry. Ooh, it does have a little bit of a fruity scent to it. It's a very, very thin balm. Almost feels like it melts down. That is so pigmented actually. You can smell it though. I will say you can definitely smell that. So if you don't like scented lip balms or lip glosses or lipsticks or whatever, I feel like this scent may linger just a little bit longer than others, but feels very thin. That is beautiful. Do I need to pick up the other shades? Maybe I do. Doesn't feel like it's going to give me lasting moisture throughout the day. Doesn't feel super thick and hydrating like I like my lip balms to feel. But if I'm looking for something that's gonna give me that hydrated look but also give me some color without feeling uncomfortable, I think this is going to be something I reach for a lot. Again, we have these hard candy cookie thin mints and coconut caramel, sorry. These look super hydrating and very pigmented. Like you barely have to push down to get any pigmentation. This is the coconut caramel one and I'm so excited about this because I actually feel like this is going to be the type of color that I usually go for. I love the warm undertone to this color. Honestly, from the outside packaging, I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a pale pink, but I would consider this kind of like a neutral brownie pink. Dude, this jackhammering is killing me. I love the pinky tone to it, but it also has a little bit of like a yellowy orange undertone to it. I feel like this one is going to be one that for me, I would use kind of like a lip liner. Maybe we should add it to this. It's beautiful. I love this combination. It's so good. Oh my goodness. I just realized that this is a drugstore video, so I'm not going to be using these here. This is in the shade number 3 Upper Hand. It's a neutral shade. I like that these were kind of categorized as warm, cool, and neutral shades, so it kind of helps you decide which one might work better for you. I will say right off the bat, I feel like the wiper of this doesn't wipe enough product off of the doe foot. It does come off kind of like chunky, kind of like too much product there. This one is kind of a deeper rosy brown shade, and these do dry down like a typical matte. Not that much of a creamy texture to them. They're definitely a little bit creamy moussey, but when it comes down to it, when you're actually applying it on the lips, it is more thin and it dries down completely like a regular matte. Today I'm going to be using this one, which is the shade number 2 Poster Child. I'm going to use this NYX lip liner in the shade Nude Truffle. And I'm going to take a very small amount of this, put it on the center of my lip, and then just blend it out with this lip brush. It's the BK Angie Hot and Flashy A505 brush. I actually don't know if this is for lips per se. These have a similar tacky finish as like the Maybelline Superstays. If you put too much of that also, it can feel a little bit tacky. So I like to go in with a very small amount, rub it with my fingers, and then leave it as like a sheer color. The pigmentation is good enough to where you can kind of thin it out and it still gives you really good pigmentation. And if you like press your lips together, they slightly like stick, you know? Here is the finished makeup look. My lips definitely do not match my eyeshadow going on right now, but it is what it is. I hope that you guys like this look. That was a journey, especially with those jackhammers going in the background. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which product here intrigued you the most. If you enjoyed it or if you found it helpful or both, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!